6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The foreign minister is in Geneva to highlight the grave human rights situation in occupied Kashmir at the 42nd session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. The Foreign Office spokesperson has appreciated the serious concern shown by the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights over the prevailing human rights situation in occupied Kashmir. Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations has called for action on the part of the world body and not just words to deal with the grave crisis stemming from India's illegal annexation of occupied Kashmir. In occupied Kashmir, curfew and other restrictions have been further intensified to prevent Muharram processions all across the territory. Meeting of the Asia-Pacific Joint Group of Financial Action Task Force is to be held at Bangkok today to evaluate compliance report of Pakistan, Cambodia and Mongolia. And now the news in detail. The Foreign Minister Shah Qureshi has arrived in Switzerland on a 3-day visit to represent Pakistan at the 42nd session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. He will also address the session and present the case of Kashmiris before the delegates attending the forum from all across the world. Shah Qureshi will raise the Indian unilateral and illegal actions in occupied Kashmir and highlight the threat posed to the region as a result of these actions. The foreign minister will also hold meetings with the leaders of the OIC and World Health Organization in Geneva. He will interact with the local and international media representatives in Geneva and present Pakistan's stance and point of view on various regional and international issues. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Michele Bachelet has expressed serious concern over the prevailing human rights situation in occupied Kashmir. Speaking at the 42nd session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva today, she also expressed deep concern over the recent actions by the Indian government on human rights of Kashmiris, including restrictions on internet communications, peaceful assembly and detention of local political leaders and activities. The United Nations High Commissioner said she has appealed to India to ease the current lockdowns or curfews, ensure people's access to basic services, and that all due process rights are respected for those who have been detained. She stressed it is important that the people of Kashmir are consulted and engaged in any decision-making processes that have an impact on their future. The Foreign Office spokesperson, Dr Mohammad Faisal, has appreciated the serious concern shown by the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Michele Bachelet over the prevailing human rights situation in Indian-occupied Kashmir. In a statement, he noted Michele Bachelet's concern about the impact of recent actions by the Indian government on human rights of the Kashmiris, including restrictions on internet communications, peaceful assembly, and the detention of local political leaders and activists. Dr. Mohammad Faisal underlined that United Nations High Commissioner's concern and calls are consistent with the position taken by the United Nations system vis-a-vis human rights situation in Indian-occupied Kashmir, including the continuing restrictions and crackdown on fundamental rights and freedoms of the Kashmiri people. Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Dr. Maliha Lodi, has called for action on part of the United Nations and not just words to deal with the grave crisis stemming from India's illegal annexation of occupied Kashmir. In an interview with the Consortium News, an independent American current affairs television channel, she also urged for the implementation of the Security Council resolutions that pledge the right of self-determination to the Kashmiri people to decide their own future. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashik Awan, has said the attack of Indian forces on a procession paying homage to Hazrat Imam Hussain Razillah Ta'ala Anhu in occupied Kashmir is a continuation of the Karbala tragedy. In a series of tweets today, she described the attack as the worst form of Indian state terrorism. She said Pakistan strongly condemns the Indian oppression and detention of the mourners. She said the day is not far off when India and tyrant Modi will also face the fate of Yazid and Kashmir will get freedom. Speakers at a seminar on Kashmir in the Indian state of Karnataka have said New Delhi has imposed a war on people of the territory. Speaking at the seminar, Communist Party leader Kavita Krishnan, while rejecting the Indian government's claim about normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir, said the territory has become a prison. Former Supreme Court Judge Justice V. Gopala Gowda stated that the Supreme Court has clarified that Article 370 is a permanent feature of the Constitution, which cannot be unilaterally abrogated. Mohan Raj, leader of Dalit Sangharsh Samiti Bhamiwad, said the abrogation of Article 370 is a problem not just for Kashmiris, but an indication of the government's lack of respect for the Constitution. In occupied Kashmir, curfew and other restrictions imposed since August 5th have been further intensified to prevent Muharram processions all across the territory. The commercial hub of Lal Chowk and adjoining areas are completely sealed by the police and Central Reserve Police Force. Meanwhile, normal life remains severely affected in Kashmir on the 36th consecutive day today, with all markets closed and transport off the road. Curfew and other restrictions have rendered the common man with acute shortage of essential commodities and hospitals without medicines. This is Radio Pakistan. A U.S. delegation led by General Kenneth F. McKenzie, Jr., Commander U.S. CENTCOM Call on Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa in Rawalpindi today. Geostrategic environment and regional security, including Afghanistan and Kashmir situation, were discussed during the meeting. Yom Ashur, the 10th of Muharram, will be observed tomorrow across the country with due solemnity to pay homage to the supreme sacrifice rendered by Hazrat Imam Hussain Razillah Ta'ala Anhu and his devoted companions in Karbala. Morning processions are being taken out in all the cities and towns of the country. Ulama and Zakirin will highlight the bright and candid teachings of Hazrat Imam Hussain Razillah Ta'ala Anhu and various aspects of Karbala tragedy. In connection with the 9th Muharram today, Tazia and Zuljana processions are being taken out in different parts of the country in memory of the martyrs of Karbala. A four-day meeting of the Asia-Pacific Joint Group of the Financial Action Task Force will begin in Bangkok today. The meeting will review compliance report of Pakistan, Cambodia, and Mongolia. The first face-to-face meeting on Pakistan's progress report is scheduled to be held today in the afternoon session. Pakistan's report would further be discussed tomorrow. The European Union Special Envoy for Afghanistan, Roland Kobia, has said presidential elections must be held in the country this month. In a Twitter post, he said elections are more necessary by the hour as the country needs a political leadership that has received a renewed democratic mandate from its citizens. Afghanistan presidential elections are scheduled for the 28th of this month, but the Taliban are opposed to the polls. The International Atomic Energy Agency says Iran has begun installing more advanced centrifuges and is moving towards producing enriched uranium. IAEA spokesman said in a statement today that all the installed centrifuges have been prepared for testing with uranium hexafluoride. It said Iran's move is a violation of its nuclear deal with the major powers. The European Union says it will not recognize the results of Sunday's Russian local and regional elections in Crimea. Spokeswoman for the European Union Foreign Affairs Chief Federica Mogherini said in a statement today that anybody elected in the Crimean Peninsula claiming to represent the populations of Crimea and Sevastopol will not be recognized as representatives of those territories which are Ukrainian. The British Airways cancelled 1,700 flights to and from London's Heathrow and Gatwick airports today and tomorrow ahead due to the strike of British Airline Pilots Association. British Airways pilots began a two-day strike today, grounding nearly all of its flights and disrupting thousands of passengers in a dispute over pay. The 90th birth anniversary of renowned German doctor Dr. Ruth Befall, who dedicated her life to eradicate leprosy from Pakistan, is being observed today. A symbol of selflessness, Dr. Ruth Katharina Martha Befall has been hailed as Pakistan's Mother Teresa, who trained Pakistani doctors and attracted foreign donations, founding Pakistan's National Leprosy Control Program. And now news about sports. In the Asian Cricket Council Under-19 Asia Cup, Pakistan beat Kuwait by 163 runs at Colombo today. Batting first, Pakistan scored 335 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in the stipulated 50 overs. In reply, Afghanistan chased the target, scoring 172 runs in 43.4 overs. Tennis. In the final of the US Open 2019, Rafael Nadal of Spain beat Russian Daniil Medvedev by 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, and 6-4. Rafael Nadal, after winning, has become the first man to claim American Open title 5 times. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain thunderstorm is expected at a few places in Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk. And you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.